Okay, so far we have in this particular problem for 3.7 plus, we have entered in the data into our calculator. Um, we have basically set up the stat plot and everything. So take a look. If I go back to the calculator, uh, I did set my windows up, right? -5 to 40, so that's all set, and I see all my data points. So now I want to go on to the next part, which is actually creating the equation. Alright, so I want to put a line of best fit through here. So to do that, you go back to the Stat button, and you go over to Calc. So move it to the right, and then you'll see number 4, which is line regression, so you can hit 4. Now, if your calculator goes to this screen, you have the newest version, which is a lot easier, or you might have this version here on your calculator. So that's something you'll get a blank screen basically, and so all you'll see is line regression ax plus b. So then you have to enter all this other in. So if you have this screen here on the paper, you're going to go to second L1, then hit the comma, second L2, hit the comma, and then you'll go on to the vars piece, which I'll show. So here, this screen, you're just going to hit enter until you get down to store regression. Okay, and now you're going to hit the vars button. Everybody does that now. You go over to yvars, you hit function, and then y1 is where you're going to store your equation. So you hit enter, and so now you have this, and now you hit enter twice, and it automatically calculates for you your slope, which will be a in this case, and b, which is your y-intercept. And that's what you see here. This page also shows just how accurate your equation is. As closer it gets to 1, the better. That's kind of what it's saying there, but that's not really important in this particular setup. So now I know what my equation is. It's actually stored in the y=1 slot, as you can see here, and you can float through it to see it. Okay, so that's important to see. Oops. Alright. So now if I hit graph, it'll draw a line right through the whole thing. And so this is my line of best fit. Okay, so that's really nice to have. Now if I want to calculate, which they're going to make you do, they'll say, hey, at 45 or at 10, what would be your output for y? And so we would do that. So we could go into a clear screen. Okay, and you will then do the same thing. You're going to do vars, yvars, function. You'll pick 1 because that's where your equation's sitting. And then you'll go parentheses, and this time I'll put 45 in. And when I hit enter, it calculates it for me. Now it's not going to do it if you didn't do the y1 in your setup. You'll get an error. So some people will say, I didn't get that. Well, that's because you didn't go into the vars button and put that in. So that's pretty important that you do that to that setup. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We'll do one more problem together that's on another handout, and that way you have 2 examples to compare so you can do the homework and quizzes and on the tests in the future.